Terra Nil. This game is a major one for me. I have played this in alpha, when it was presented in pixel art, and I've been following its development ever since. Terra Nil is a reverse city builder about ecosystem reconstruction, and seeing how preserving our environment is more and more important for us as a race, this one really hits home. We are tasked with cleaning a barren wasteland and turning into some place where life can start over. We'll clean up toxins, restore the growth of plants, adjust the humidity and temperature, and last but not least, we'll make sure not to leave a mess behind. So that upon leaving this serene environment, nature will be allowed to thrive. Terra Nil is a puzzle strategy with finite resources and sets goals to achieve so we can restore the place. There's no release date as of now, but it's a gem worth keeping an eye on.
The Cub takes you on a 20 to 30 minutes worth of a journey throughout a few handpicked segments of its to-be levels. While I'd love to introduce you to what the genre it belongs to is exactly, I couldn't take you any closer than calling it a 2D platformer. Beyond this, it appears to borrow elements such as enemies that you shouldn't touch, and mechanics such as rope swings from pacifist collection-focused platformers, but there's currently nothing to collect. It borrows the idea of offering multiple paths from start to the end, just as we grew to know and love from the Sonic franchise, but once again, so far nothing to collect on the way. It seems to constantly urge you to keep moving on, like if it was a time trial precision platformer, but then it keeps breaking the flow with how slow and clumsy some of the interactions with the environment can be. The Cub seems to be branching out in many a direction, and I hope they just made the deliberate decision not to show the main focus, instead of the scary thought that it might not even be yet decided. On the other hand, visual and auditory style is certainly decided already, with looks resembling that of the pages of a comic book, and the catchy background music occasionally being replaced with some flavored radio blabber. This aspect is super close to being clean, only complaint would be the readability of the level, some added contrast would be welcome.
Perish is a stylish 4-player FPS. We play as Emietri, a corporeal spirit condemned to live a shadow life in the halfway realm of purgatory. We kick our casket open to bring an end to our suffering by initiating the rites of Orpheus and defeat the chthonic deities that dominate our fractious path to Elysium. We will slay hordes of creatures on the scorched sands of purgatory and sell their gold-stained corpses to craven priests. The game is drop-dead gorgeous, especially that I could fire up my RTX card for the added visual orgasm, and the game supports it. The action is packed, the background music is heavy and ponderous and makes my blood flow, the controls are fine, even if the jumping is a bit weird for my taste. The game is basically an FPS roguelite, where we can buy new and shiny things to play and slay with from the God of Slay enemies. I had a ton of fun with this one, and will keep on playing it while I can, so if you fancy Purgatory, give this one a go while you can, as the release date, unfortunately, is still TBD.
This one should probably be an honorary mention rather, as Gloomwood presents pre-alpha gameplay, admittedly not an ideal situation. Either way, this nod to the classical stealther games, think the type of the Thief series, even in this early stage ticked a lot of items on the must-have list of components. A moody, dark atmosphere, easily identifiable levels of visibility, multiple access routes towards key location, and solid sound design allowing the player to place enemies within their surroundings without even seeing them. All of these are already here and feel solid. There's obviously something to say about the looks of the game at this point, but to be perfectly honest, that's actually what pulled me in the first place. It reminded me so much of the original Thief game. Down the road, I'd love to see some interaction with the lights, diverse objectives, a non-lethal melee weapon to knock enemies out without killing them, the option to hide bodies within cupboards or crates and stuff like that, and of course a meaty story that ties all the rest together. Until these arrive, however, I can still wholeheartedly recommend Gloomwood during next fest, as well as keeping an eye on it beyond this week.
Lone Ruin is a spell-based roguelike twin-stick shooter promising tons of replayability. Play as an explorer who seeks a mysterious ancient power in an old ruin built atop a source of magical goop used by all the mages to power and transform themselves. In this pre-alpha demo we experience a procedurally generated map and fight hordes of enemies who become harder and harder to defeat. The gameplay is smooth, the animations are great, the list of available weapons and spells is fairly impressive already. Presented in a unique semi-3D pixel art style, Lone Ruin's popping color palette makes every randomized level an action-packed treat for the eyes. There's not much more to say about this one for now, but one thing I can tell you, I had great fun with it. If you like action and if you like what you see, make sure to try it out. Following a global catastrophe, the remains of human civilization built a new religious society among the ruins of the desolated underground. All have forgotten the light of the sun and are now just blindly following their new god, the Great Hand. Once every few years the hand comes down to the people of Central Station and takes away the chosen newborns to the world hidden behind the gates of the sanctuary. And as you might imagine, we quickly find out that there seems to be more going on behind the scenes that meets the eye. In this action-adventure RPG, we will delve deep into the world, as well as Poole's Verse of Blood. It's a fast-paced hardcore Souls-like journey, but at the same time the devs made efforts to ensure the player can learn everything about the world if they want to, through conversing with NPCs and reading different snippets. Our hero is a father whose child was taken by the Great Hand, so he sets out to recover his infant before being sacrificed. Gameplay centers around an aggressive fighting style. It resembles a deadly dance, where any mistake could be your last, but avoiding battle is not an option. A rage system builds up when damage is inflicted on enemies and the environment, and the hero can use special weapon abilities in order to gain advantage in battle. There's also an underlying karma system promising that our choices will matter all the way to the end. All in all, it's a very promising one. Sadly no release date of yet, but from what I've seen, this one will be worth the wait.
This 30-minute demo shows a glimpse of an upcoming 2D Metroidvania set in a visually pleasing, even if grim pixel environment. While I failed to understand absolutely anything about the story, it got me intrigued about how the Cheshire Cat ended up in what seems to be an even darker version of Castlevania, as well as what the hell all the clay and mold talk could be about. Exploration feels flawless, traversing the verticality of the levels, unlocking shortcuts as you progress, and of course no Metroid can be complete without hidden areas. Combat feels just as quick-paced. The demo introduces your basic heavy and special attack, dodge, parry and a spell tree, leaving only the question whether later down the line developers can spice up the combat system to keep it feeling fresh throughout. I'm definitely keeping an eye open for this one, and if you're a fan of the genre, you should too.
It's been a while since I've played a great dark roguelike, not to mention I've never played one where I'm beheaded as soon as the game starts. Well, in Cult of the Lamb, this all happens and more. We play as Lamb, the protagonist who faced their demise before being brought back to life, to gather new followers and souls for the one who saved him. Hence, we will start a journey to avenge our death, to serve justice to those who wronged us, and to start a cult. In this game we'll manage our home base and grow our cult. Then we'll venture out in a procedurally generated map, just like in Moonlighter, just to kick some ass, gather some resources, spill some blood, and to enlighten souls to follow us. The graphics are awesome, the characters are dark, the game feels great, so check this one out. Release date is expected to be the 11th of August 2022.
Rhythm games would surely be high up on the top list of niche titles, even if to me, Thumper, Audio Surf, Curse of the Necrodancer, these are amongst the most addictive of games to play. And now there's a good chance this list is soon to expand further upon the release of Melatonin. The setting is as simple as protagonist falling asleep in front of the telly, and we are to pump to his dreams of eating junk, buying all the shit, gaming and becoming #1 influencer, to then round it all up with a feverish infusion of them all. At least, that's what Night 1 contains, and that's likely as far as the demo goes. But even that's more than enough to show what's on offer here. Playful music tracks, challenging rhythms to get familiar with and to hit, a goofy visual style, and most importantly fun, addictive gameplay. Don't hesitate to give this one a try, the rhythm game genre deserves more love.
Self-described as a turn-based tactical RPG with a gripping cinematic narrative, Lost Eidolons invites the player to take on the role of a mercenary captain and lead his band of allies through epic encounters on a classical turn-based battlefield. I was really looking forward to play this game, and I was not surprised that the game is already polished and well thought out. This one's a turn-based RPG as mentioned, and a harder one at that. The AI is quite good and you are required to think before you act. One must strategically station their soldiers in every battle to take advantage of their class and magic skills while also mastering the battlefield to seize victory. The player will have to take into consideration the terrain, if the enemy has cavalry or archers, or the type of magic to use effectively. With the added narrative, the whole game has character, as the story is about a rebellion. And leading a rebellion isn't just about winning battles. We'll also have to build our camp, convince people to join, get to know their stories, and help them navigate the highs and lows of revolution. So far so good. The only problem I had with this one was the cutscenes being too much for my taste, but I'm willing to accept their necessity for the world building, and I'm looking forward to play this one in Q3 of 2022.